2, 3, 4.
We are Movie Menu Reviews, doing our Edge of 17 season recap. On today's episode, we'll be discussing our top picks of the summer 2019, our most disappointed picks of the summer 2019, and our most anticipated pick of the fall summer season of 2019.
The fall summer.
The midsummer.
Welcome, ladies and gents. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, host of Movie Menu Reviews, your weekly movie news and reviews podcast.
Hey!
Live on Facebook. Or if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, thank you so much, and we appreciate it. Joining me today is my senior panelist and co-host Z.
That is me. Thank you. Thank you for this. We're ending, right? This is the last one.
This is our last one
for the season
ever.
only.
I mean, for the season.
Yeah.
Well, after this, we are legal.
Yes, barely legal, but legal. Someone who's also barely legal is my co-host, Mike Stay.
So untrue. Isn't he the oldest one among us?
He is.
Yeah.
The old wise one.
No, that's so untrue.
But according to him, he told everyone on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark that he was only 16, and they believed him.
That's true. He did get a role that way.
I don't know how. I don't know either. It just it worked.
So if you have listened to our shows in the past, you know at the end of every season we do a recap of the season we just reviewed.
Yes.
And we give our top choices of the films that we saw, our most disappointed picks, and then one most anticipated pick for the next season. But before we do that, let's discuss our. Oh, I guess we should probably do it afterwards.
Overall impression. Yeah, we can start now if you want.
Sure.
Well, so we all know what our picks, our most anticipated pick for this season. Let's discuss how that worked out for us. So Z,
Yeah,
your most
so-
anticipated pick for the summer season.
Yeah,
was
John Wick 3 John Wick chapter 3 Parabellum. There you go. It didn't make my top 3 and best films of the summer.
Really?
But that's not to say that it's not fun and not enjoyable. I've actually now seen it 4 times. And every time I watch it, it's silly, it's ridiculous, it's John Wick. And I think that right there is the reason why you should go watch the movie or rent it when it comes out, is because, yes, did it meet my expectations? Absolutely. Was it fun? Hell yeah. Was it absolute nonsense? You betcha. But it's still a really fun movie. So if you like action, this is the standard. I feel like, Bourne did something and John Wick did something else, and it's a great movie.
And Mike, let's talk about your most
Yeah, Mike.
Sure.
your most anticipated pick.
Fine.
What was your most anticipated pick for the summer season?
Tolkien.
And
Sorry,
did
hold
you-
on. Say that again. Sorry, you were
Tolkien.
Tolkien.
Tolkien. And I totally watched Lord of the Rings.
Did you watch your most anticipated pick of the summer, Mike?
which was Lord of the Rings? No, I didn't see Tolkien. I'm sorry.
Such shame,
on Mike's
yeah.
part. That was not a
do
movie
feel-
that we reviewed or watched.
I do feel shamed.
And
but
I
I did see some other great movies.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like you were choosing Tolkien just to be the cool guy. You were like trying to choose one that was artsy.
I
that
just
you
like Tolkien.
Never watched.
I totally missed. There
So
were so many great movies this summer that I missed that I'm like super disappointed about.
That's true.
So let's make it a conscious choice that next season, Mike, your most anticipated pick, we actually watch it this time.
Yeah,
100%.
so don't choose a
100%.
crappy one that you're not going to watch.
This isn't the first time Mike has done this.
Yeah, he does it repeatedly. Every
I've done
season.
this several times.
But they are movies I genuinely am looking forward to, and then like I just for one reason or another I end up missing it.
Well,
and I'm so
or it gets
disappointed.
pushed back or something. But
Yeah,
geez, can you
yeah.
just pick a movie we can watch?
Fine.
Yeah.
My
Fine.
most anticipated pick, and it didn't get good reviews at all, especially from these guys, from Mike specifically. But my most anticipated pick this summer was Godzilla, King of All
That's
Monsters.
right.
And I had a fun time watching it. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did.
I thought it was.
I
I saw it twice, and in the big screen, like IMAX. And it was beautiful to see IMAX. Sure, were the humans stupid? Was the story stupid? Of course. But what Godzilla film isn't stupid like that?
That's the one movie that I was trying to watch, and I had to stop watching it. It was really bad.
Well, that's what you get for watching it at home and not watching it in theaters.
Yeah.
Thank you, Z.
It was fun.
Thank you for not.
Mike was right. Hashtag
And
Mike was right.
And no, Drew liked it. Like a lot of our guests liked it. So whatever. So
Okay. You just named 2 people out of all of our guests. That is not a lot of our guests.
A lot of our guests liked it.
That's just a minority of
That
our
was like all of them. The 2 of them.
Yes.
It's called a minority at that point.
But so was the movie dumb? Yes, but was it fun?
You could just end it there. That was dumb. You got it.
Oh, it's coming from the guy who didn't even see his anticipated pick.
That's true. You got no room to talk shit, Mike.
That is true. you did get me there. Okay.
So now let's go into our list, and I'm really interested to see what your anticipated picks are for next season. Now, again, we have not discussed this with each other. We're going to talk about these films for the first time.
Yes.
Right now,
Yeah.
live on this review.
If you want a background in that, you can watch Dan's Instagram, or sorry, the Movie Menu Instagram, where Dan was trying to record my list, and I'm like trying to protect it at all costs.
I know. He acted like this was like the SATs or something. Like I'm trying to copy off his list. I'm like, come on.
You get an extra 200 points if you wrote your name wrong.
I'm just hoping to be unique in my own
So,
way.
Mike, you already negative 200 points?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because you didn't even watch your anticipated movie from last season.
It's the same story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, let's go ahead and go to our top picks for the summer.
Sorry. If this was the SATs, Mike spelled his name wrong.
Yes, he did. He did.
Yes, that is true.
On that note, let's go into our top picks for the summer 2019. And we're going to go, Z, you go first.
Thank you.
And then we're going to go down the line.
I'm sorry. What are we doing again, sir?
Top picks.
Top picks of
Number 3.
Sorry,
Yeah,
number three.
Sorry, number
for the next season.
No.
For this season.
For this season.
Sorry.
for the next season that you haven't seen yet, you're going to
Sorry,
talk about.
just thinking about Mike screwing up his name. It's just doing it for me. All right, my number 3 on that I enjoyed this season was Toy Story 4. It's a sequel we never asked for, but Josh Cooley did such a good job of directing it, and it was such a heartfelt epilogue to the Toy Story franchise that I'm really hoping that there is no sequel, and I'm really hoping that we got the finale of this story. I really loved what they did with the Tom Hanks character in this. I remember hearing that Tom Hanks cried initially, and Bo Peep gets such an upgraded role in this story that if you get a chance and you didn't watch it in theaters, definitely buy this, definitely rent this. This was a really fun and enjoyable movie that it will not make you cry. It doesn't do that, but it definitely makes you feel. And I think that's equally important for any film to do.
Agreed. I thought Toy Story was such... I mean, when they announced it, I know a lot of people were like, we don't need it, the perfect trilogy. But we did need this film.
Yeah.
It was a nice tie-up to the rest of the Toy Stories.
And while
story.
it didn't make as much money, right? It didn't make as much money as Toy Story 3 did, but it still made a lot of money, which means that, fans were hesitant, but fans went out and watched it.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a fantastic edition. Super fun. New characters. Forky was great.
Forky, I am trash. That was just brilliant.
It spoke to a generation.
It did such a great job of equating love to trash, and all of us felt like trash. So yes, it worked really well.
My number 3 pick is The Farewell. Yes, I have a list.
Okay.
Yeah, we all have paper lists against this was the SATs.
So The Farewell. Now, I was brought to light of this story because I listened to This American Life and they did a story on this, and I thought it was so compelling. And when I went to go see it in theaters, I had already somewhat of a background of the story. Watching it come to life and dealing with the culture differences between in China and here in the United States, but the overall story with family and how universal that is, I really, really thought it was a beautiful film. Yeah. And Awkwafina's performance is so great. It really spoke to me, and I really enjoyed that journey going on with Awkwafina.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's the one movie that I haven't gotten a chance to go out and watch yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
All right,
Mike?
my number 3. Even though I said Takeout during the initial review, but it is a film that kind of like it's not only like as I sat with it, it continued to stay with me as time goes on, and that's Midsommar. And I just think it's a super unique film. I'm excited to see what else the director.
Oh, did you forget to add it to your honorable mentions?
And,
Nice.
and I just I'm looking forward to seeing the next film of this director, and I think he's just doing a lot of new amazing things with the horror genre compared to the other horror films that are out right now.
Yeah, that's another movie I didn't see, and I don't want to watch it. So
You should. Ari Aster is a visionary. He's 2 for 2 in the sense of the style and the creepiness of his films that he makes. But they're also like art house films, but with eerie folks stories behind it and scary stories behind it. And,
cool.
And it's developed really well. I'm actually surprised. I was surprised when you gave it a takeout in a review because I think we had given it a dine-in.
Yeah.
Not Yuzi, but
no,
the
I was
guest.
hosting, I believe. Yeah,
It is one of those movies where like after I saw it, like I just didn't know what to think. But I think that's a good thing where like it kind of challenged me, and I was like, I don't even know. I just gotta like let this movie sit for a while.
There are some movies that need to percolate, right? Some movies that are shocking enough they need to percolate inside of you and just be like, how did it affect you overall?
Yeah. So this percolated in you, Mark?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds disturbing. Z, what's your number 2?
All right, my number 2. It's a movie that you guys, I think, reviewed, and I took the recommendation. I took my fiance Ashley to go watch it because I think we were having might have been a bad week, and we were like, oh, let's watch. I heard it's really good. Is Booksmart? Yeah. It honestly, it took a while for it to build up. Movie really takes a while to really build up, but because Beanie Feldstein's character is such a dislikable yet relatable character, and Caitlin Dever's character is just so relatable. That the more you journey on with these two characters, the more you enjoy them just being themselves. And even at that ending, like, hey, you want to get some pancakes? Fuck yeah, I want to get some that's I'm not spoiling anything. That's just how great this movie is.
Malala.
And
Malala,
and scene after scene, it does such a good job of not even taking. It's not even sort of Stranger to Strange Land kind of situation. Good Boys. Good Boys. That's the new movie that came out, right? Yeah, it's nothing like that. I don't think it feels more genuine and it feels more real. It feels like you've met these girls in high school, and they are awesome just to be around.
Agreed. I really enjoyed Booksmart as well. I wish
likewise
the marketing was better because they tried to market it like
they were trying to do again. It was similar to
Superbad, yeah,
similar
Superbad for girls, which I wish they would have separated.
It was its
from it.
own beast, the director Olivia Wilde, who's this amazing actress, just blew it out of the park. She did such a good job of encapsulating what it feels like to be a teenager on your last days of high school. It's just a fun movie.
Agreed. My number 2 pick is actually was Z's most anticipated pick. I'm going to put John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum.
Fantastic.
One of the longest titles in movie history. But
a lot of colons in there.
A lot of colons. Now,
are they ruptured?
This is not news, but I know Mike and we did not enjoy the first. Well, we enjoyed the first John Wick for its action sequences, but not so much for its story. And then when part 2 came out, it was the story and the action were both there. And in this one, the action has been elevated, and the story was more elevated as well. And I really enjoyed the hard work that Keanu Reeves himself put into this film, doing his own stunts for the majority of the film, if not all of it. And I thought it was such a spectacle in the theater to watch, and I really, 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 really enjoyed it. So it's my number 2.
Yeah, awesome. It's a brilliant movie. It shows.
And Halle Berry is kick-ass in this film too.
And what I love is that the first movie was all about gun fu, and then the second one was a lot about car fu and also gun fu. But then the third one's about horse fu
and motorcycle
and dog fu
and dog fu.
Motorcycle fu.
Yeah, and motorcycle fu. You never realize you needed to see these action sequences until you see them on screen. And even at that, like in a big screen, it was a fun collective experience because everyone in the theater went, oh,
Yeah.
you know, everybody had the similar reactions of like, what is John gonna do to try to killing people? And when he does, the first kill with the book, you just kind of are.
That's
You
fantastic.
never imagined seeing the book to be a weapon.
Thank
and
you
then,
for mentioning that, Z.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
It's super great.
Mike, you're number 2.
My number 2 is one of the. So my number 2 is Yesterday, and I just really.
Wait, we're today.
Shut up.
I really enjoyed it because it's not necessarily a biopic film, but it's about the Beatles, and I like that, and I hope to continue to see more films like that where you're just experiencing the importance of a band or their music catalog and how much it has affected you, and there's just something that feels more real about it. So.
Yeah.
Even though the concept of the film is totally ridiculous, but it's super fun as well. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, and it's it's on my honorable mentions, but it's such a heartfelt movie that
absolutely.
that it doesn't like. I feel like it's one fault. It doesn't explain to you why the Beatles are so important to our lexicon and our abilities to converse, but it does it in a way that like the main character struggles to say the things that his songs that once he's ripping off. You know what he's intending to say, he can't say them. The Beatles songs are doing it for him.
Yeah.
But it's like the movie just does such a good job of reminding you just how important those songs are in these two characters that are just super lovable.
Now, that's a film that I wish I would have seen. I did not watch it.
Yeah.
I think it may have been on your list if you would have saw it.
It probably would have been. But my... no, Z's number 1.
My number 1 is, I believe, your number 1.
Yeah, we could just talk about it together.
Yeah, let's just talk about it. Avengers Endgame.
This game.
There you go.
This should have been a countdown.
You should have said we're going to do a countdown. We didn't plan that.
It's like 3 Avengers.
Avengers Endgame
Yes.
is our number 1 pick, which is an obvious pick.
Which, with the running time of 3 hours and 1 minute, this shouldn't be anyone's top pick, right? Like one of the big complaints that we had about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was its running time. But the great job that the Russos did with this movie was just how quickly paced the movie feels. But not to say that the pacing doesn't, arrange itself around a drama. There are moments where Thor is really kind of like thinking about his impact on the world and everything he's done. And the movie slows down, but it slows down well enough so that you feel something.
It's also a culmination of the past 10 years within this universe and these characters that you've invested your time in watching and just seeing every main character that we followed have their story tied up into somewhat of a bow.
Yeah, and the other important part, as you were saying right now, is that this movie has it's called an Endgame, and there is a definitive ending to the characters that you love. And that's not a spoiler, but you understand just that this movie really does signify this is the end of the Avengers that we grew up with.
10 years. That is
10 years,
growing up with.
Yeah, for sure.
So we applaud Endgame for its massive storytelling. Yeah. This Infinity Saga. And it deserves...
And it deserves its accolades. But also, kudos to Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. These are the unsung heroes of the Marvel universe. And not to say that Kevin Feige didn't have a huge role in all that, but Marcus and McFeely did such a good job of making a good story that I would be glad to have in comic book form. They do such a great job of showing our childhood on screen, and it's beautiful. It's great. Stan Lee would be proud.
Yes, for sure.
Mike, what's your number 1 pick?
My number 1 pick is actually the one that emotionally affected me the most out of all of these films I've seen this summer, which was The Farewell.
My number 3 pick.
Yeah. So that's my number 1, and it felt like it hit very close to home with a lot of themes in terms of family, in terms of like relationships. It's great. So if you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend watching it for sure.
Definitely should watch it. All right, Z, give your honorable mentions.
I was going to say let's do honorable mentions since we should play some music on this one. Let's see, honorable mentions. This was a very interesting season. We
It
had
was.
really great movies. We had really bad movies. But one, I'll go over the one. So Long Shot, I watched this, I think, on our recommendation that you guys reviewed it.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So I'm
I feel like-
surprised.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot of the same honorable mentions, so I don't think.
Sure,
we need
let's-
to go-
let's-
yeah.
Let's just go through them.
I won't mention Long Shot. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Long Shot was just a really fun movie. Again, this show works really well when you guys convinced me to watch a movie.
right.
And Long Shot was a really fun, enjoyable movie. It actually was in competition with Booksmart for me. I was like, which comedy really did it for me? And I want to say that Long Shot did a really good job, but it was also really good. Detective Pikachu was also really a surprise. It was a joy. I went to go watch it for its representation of the Pokemon world, and instead I walked away from it thinking, hey, that was actually a fun story. The other one that Mike had put up there was Yesterday. I didn't cry during it, but it definitely made me feel emotional and kind of like tender towards the Beatles again. Stuber, which was another really ridiculous comedy
Really?
that
I'm
shouldn't
surprised you liked
that
it that
shouldn't
much.
have worked as well as it did. But I think that if people were watching at home, they'd enjoy that movie as well. Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Come on, that movie should not have worked. But it was so much fun. Watch it when you get a chance. And then finally, we forgot this one was Spider-Man Away From Home. It does the trick. Dan, what are your...
I have a lot.
Any that weren't mentioned already?
Or you can just to talk about it.
Well, I have Long Shot, which I thought was such a good
Right.
film. Late Night, another great film
Yeah.
by
Yes.
Mindy Kaling.
There's a lot of indie movies, right? These
Yeah.
are movies that are not like big movies.
Booksmart is one that's honorable mention that was really, really well done. Excuse me. Annabelle Comes Home, I thought was really, 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 really good. Surprisingly, as good of a film for the Conjuring universe. Aladdin, I thought what they did with Aladdin was great. I really enjoyed what they did with the updating of Jasmine's story, but also keeping to the classic. Spider-Man: Far From Home I really enjoyed as well, and Dora and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I really enjoyed that film. So those are my honorable mentions.
All right, I'll mention the movies that you guys haven't mentioned already.
All right.
So Rocket Man was really great. That was actually that was my aha moment with musicals. It's always difficult for me to watch a musical, but for me to understand the need of musicals. I don't know. It's I gotta figure out a way to articulate that better. But it just the combination of the music and the surrealism of all of it, I feel like, and that's the very basic concept of just music, where you have to tell a huge story in 3 or 4 minutes with lyrics, where you got to sum it all up in the smallest amount of words possible. And I feel like in Rocket Man they succeeded in doing that, where they told you a whole lot in a whole little amount of time. So definitely Rocket Man.
I forgot one honorable mention as well.
Sure, go ahead, Dan.
Godzilla, King of All Monsters. But that's it.
Are you just adding that because you feel obligated to?
No,
I
I
think
really
you
enjoyed
are.
it. I forgot to add it to the list, but it was.
I don't believe you.
Go on, Mike.
Trying to rub that in my face. Also, a film that was unexpectedly really fun to watch in theaters was Crawl. If you guys hadn't seen it,
I haven't.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I forgot about that film.
which was
It was good.
Yeah, it was super fun to watch. I recommend it. It was very similar to Breathe. If you guys have already
Don't Breathe.
Don't Breathe.
Yeah,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
Don't Breathe, yeah.
Don't Breathe. Sorry.
I think it was by the same director.
You might
No.
be right.
No, I don't know if it is. Extremely
Or it definitely is
Wicked,
from the same-
Extremely Wicked and Shockingly Evil was another movie that we didn't review,
Okay.
but was on Netflix.
Yeah,
and that was
yeah.
also really fun. That was a Ted Bundy story.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
also a really fun one. Yeah,
Sure. Also, Scary Stories we just reviewed. That was an honorable mention, and it's cheating for me to put it in honorable review, but I Blinded by the Light. I highly recommend people go to check this out, even though I haven't seen it yet.
Cheater,
come on,
cheater,
that doesn't
pumpkin
count.
eater.
Yeah, shut up, Mike. Shut up, Mike.
I still think it should be seen in this season, even though I haven't seen it yet.
All right, Mike. What's your number 3 most disappointing film of the season?
There's so many.
I really didn't hate it, but The Kitchen is number 3 for me.
Okay,
So,
all
I
right.
mean, it's not
And we just reviewed that
I
last
mean,
week.
I felt indifferent about it, but I know, after today, I probably won't remember it anymore. It'll be gone.
It'll be gone. Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's just one of those movies that had so many great seeds for a super cool plot, and there's just missed opportunities everywhere. So, what about you guys?
Z?
My number 3 on this horrible list is Hellboy.
I
that didn't
forgot.
come out this season.
We all forgot about it because it was
totally forgot about
that terrible.
It didn't come out this season.
It did in fact come out this season.
It did.
It came out in April.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
That
was during our break.
Yeah,
I did say that I was going to put things on there that were not we didn't watch.
I say it counts,
but
I think it does count.
I desperately think it counts. It was absolutely atrocious. Neil Marshall is a good director, and I can only say that potentially this was an issue with the studios. Del Toro did such a good job of making campy, making fun, and making an enjoyable Hellboy story. The anti-hero. But this movie just played too fast and too loose on making it fantastical, and I think it lost a lot of its really fun elements. And honestly, like I just feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed for this movie. I wanted to watch it, and it was just awful. Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 for most disappointing film was a film that was a remake, and I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Though there are so many remakes this summer, I can only imagine what you guys are thinking, which one it is.
Yeah.
But it was a horror franchise that I was looking forward to, and that's Child's Play.
Oh, I did not think that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping that it was going to go really, really well, especially with Mark Hamill behind the voice of Chucky. And then just bringing the character back, updating it to AI. I thought they could do some really fun stuff with it, which I guess by the end of the film, there was some cool stuff. But just to get there alone was so disappointing.
Yeah.
That's my number 3.
All right.
Okay. My number 2. So I feel weird throwing this one in the list, but
but you're going to do it anyways.
But I did it anyway. Which is
Tolkien? Is it Tolkien?
No,
Tolkien.
I totally missed Tolkien. Maybe it would have been on my bottom 3. But my number 2 is The Dead Don't Die.
Okay.
So, why did you feel like I'm weird adding that to your list?
Because I feel like
you weren't disappointed by it because you weren't expecting much?
Yeah. It was kind of like I think it seemed like they intentionally aimed very low when they made this film. So it's kind of
I don't think so. I think they were trying to aim really high with the all-star cast that they had in it.
Yeah.
No. It's kind of like it was. It almost
like it was like the producers they were trying to make a flop.
It almost felt like a throwaway film. Like this is fun and dumb and that's it. But but this is in my number 2. So. Yeah, I don't know if you guys had an opportunity.
I didn't watch it, so I have no idea.
I already know what your number 1 is, but Z?
Yeah, my number 2 is Mike's number 3. It's The Kitchen. It was we reviewed it a week ago, and that movie left a really bad taste in my mouth, and I still feel the lingering effects of just how awful and, more importantly, a waste of time that movie was. It had the potential of being a really fun romp, but instead it chose to go. I don't even know where it wanted to go. That's the problem with the movie.
How
it was so disappointing. It was so badly paced. It was badly edited, badly filmed, badly acted. And you have some good actors in this movie. And that honestly, I wanted to walk out of the movie, and I haven't had that feeling in a long time.
Since Tammy,
yeah, exactly. Since Tammy, watching with Mike and just being like, dude, is there something wrong with us?
It felt like we were in an alternate universe.
Yeah,
when we saw Tammy. It was very weird.
That's what I felt watching this movie, and this movie was terrible.
I got lucky because I skipped a lot of the bad films this season.
You did.
But my number 2 is a movie that, granted, I don't believe it deserved all the hate that it got, but it maybe deserved some of the hate, and it was disappointing because, especially since they moved this film back to the summer, because it was originally going to be released in the fall. I was like, oh, summer movie, maybe they did some good stuff to it. Then you realize they changed the ending, and you're like, okay, maybe it's going to be good. And I went in hoping it was going to be good, and it was not that good. That's X-Men Dark Phoenix.
This is a remake. It's another remake you were talking about.
Though it was, I hated Apocalypse, and though I was looking forward to seeing Sophie Turner become Jean, become the Phoenix, even though they had talked about it in Apocalypse, and somehow she destroyed spoiler alert, she destroyed Apocalypse with the Phoenix powers, but somehow she was able to get Phoenix powers again for Dark Phoenix. Who cares about continuity with X-Men and Fox?
Yeah.
But it was the last film from Fox for the X-Men, and I thought they were going to do something huge, something big, something cool, and it was just kind of mediocre. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything really, and I was so disappointed.
I have a theory on that. So my theory, and this we don't have to belittle this theory too far, but I think that Marvel, when Fox realized they couldn't get when Marvel couldn't get Fox to give the rights back, they in the comic books killed off all the mutants as a sort of fuck you, like last minute hurrah to like so you had the character of the Scarlet Witch say no more mutants and all the mutants are dead. I feel like this movie, the one you're talking about, X-Men Dark Phoenix, was like Fox going like, "Oh yeah, hold my beer," and it just really did feel like a sort of like a fuck you to Marvel, and enough so that Marvel is not going to touch mutants for like at least 5 years, because it was just such a terrible, terrible movie. And you're absolutely right. Like this movie really did. It did encapsulate everything wrong with the Bryan Singer films, the X-Men films, which is they never read a comic book. They never knew what the stories actually were. And because of that, they ruined our childhood and our franchise, the franchise that we really grew up in loving. So, yeah.
It's just the opposite of Endgame.
Yeah, if you get a chance, read Jonathan Hickman's new X-Men run he's got right now. That will actually make you feel like okay, the X-Men can actually do something good with the movies.
Mike, your number one?
All right, my number one is one of Dan's honorable mentions, and he already knows. He already knew.
Is it Tolkien?
No. I didn't see Tolkien.
No, it was John Wick.
No, it was not John Wick.
I would be surprised.
It was Godzilla. Godzilla is my
Z, what's your number one?
Which I think you summed up nicely. Z, I know this is spoiler and I don't care. How can the alpha animal sound be a combination of one of the
There's not delve too much into it.
Yeah. You know how it's just movie
sums it up though.
Logic is what it is.
Like how could it be the combination of like a creature and a human sound?
Yeah.
How would that even make sense like in the natural world?
Well, Z's not a scientist, so
yeah.
You're not a scientist.
No,
so.
I'm just it's a rhetorical question. It means that it's a terrible plot.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We do have a question.
Go for it.
From Stephanie Martinez in Aceros. Hello,
Okay.
Stephanie.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hi.
She asks, do you guys ever do documentaries?
Yes.
Every so often when we get the chance to, we do. Though a lot of the documentaries, unfortunately, are artisan films or films in like art house theaters. And sometimes we just don't get the chance to go out there and watch them as much as we should.
Yeah, and that's not to say we don't watch documentaries. The Fire documentary that came out during the season on Netflix, if you get a chance, watch that. That was actually a really spectacular mess of a documentary.
Oh, the Fire one?
Yeah, that was
Hulu
a
and
really,
Netflix?
Yeah. So watch that. So no, we do watch documentaries. We just
How I Want to Be My Neighbor, which was a great documentary.
yeah.
But yeah. Z, what's your number one?
My number one is in this movie. Again, just like Mike, I didn't have a lot of stock in watching and enjoying this movie, but when I watched it, I was disappointed by just how awful it was, and that is Brightburn.
That's my number one as well.
Brightburn, directed
Brightburn is my number
by
one.
David Yarovesky, written by Brian and Mark Gunn. You would think that they're related to Sean, but they are not. That movie sucked, and I watched The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Right,
and that did.
You mean James Gunn, right?
Both actually, James and Sean. They're
gotcha,
brothers.
gotcha.
But the point being this. Okay, so The Boys did such a good job of showing the Superman archetype in a villainous way, and it does a really good job of explaining it. So watch that on Amazon Prime. It's horrifying, so watch it if you can. But Brightburn is such a lazy attempt at making you understand. It just sucks. Don't watch it. Avoid it.
It was on my honorable mentions of bottom three.
But Dan, you said this was your other number one?
Yeah, this is my number one as well. I went in thinking, evil Superman, though they had done that story in the comics for DC, I wanted to see what they would do if he was a child and how if he grew up evil, and there's no real
So lazy.
There's no real. There's like a lazy explanation for it, but there's like you really don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing to care about.
Yeah.
All it is just graphics and
The body
and
horror
gore
is lazy, and it's just
it just was disappointing.
Watch
It was
The Boys
really
instead.
The Boys. That's a great recommendation. Highly recommend The Boys.
Yeah.
That's such a good show on Amazon Prime. And let's go over our honorable mentions.
Yeah,
okay.
Mike, you get to go first.
All right. Okay. My honorable mention that I'm actually going to watch. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm sorry.
Of
honorable
Terribles.
mentions of Terribles.
Terrible, yeah.
Actually, all that I have right now is Brightburn, so that's it. So you guys can continue on honorable
All right.
mentions.
I already have one also, but it's kind of not even worth mentioning. But,
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's Ugly Dolls.
Oh, okay. All right, Ugly Dolls. I have X-Men Dark Phoenix, as you had said earlier. I got Men in Black International, which was pretty awful. I didn't realize just how boring that movie was. Did we review that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It was
It was Chris and Dakota.
It was so boring. I honestly was like, I just couldn't. I had to struggle to finish watching it. And then the last one I put on here crossed out, but honestly, it should take some mentions on this. The Sun is also a star. We didn't review that one. It's like a rom-com style movie.
Yeah.
No, don't watch it. It's boring.
That's big coming from
Read
you.
the book. The book is actually far more interesting and far more compelling. The movie just loses all its charm. So yeah, don't watch that at all.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to go into the most anticipated film for next season, which is the fall of 2019. Now, there's some really good movies coming out, but I am going to go with Dr. Sleep.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
going to be my most anticipated film next season.
Yeah, Stephen King.
And that's coming out with Stephen King, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
And Mike Flanagan,
Mike
who's
Flanagan.
the director of it. I've already heard good things about it, so I'm looking forward to it. And should I just go over my honorable mentions, or you guys want to go first?
No, yeah, we'll go first. Yeah.
Okay, Mike?
Okay. So my most anticipated?
Yes, of next season.
All right. It's if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's already been released in other countries, but it gets its U.S. release in October, and that is called. And the film's called Parasite. So it's from the same director as Snowpiercer. And if you've already seen,
so it's Korean horror.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Bong Joon-ho. So if you're a fan of any of his previous films, I would definitely recommend keeping an eye out for it, which gets released in the U.S. mid-October. So
You better watch it, Mike.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's in a theater close to us. I don't know. I'm
Oh,
hoping.
Mike. Stay tuned to see if we see Mike's honorable mention next season finale.
Yeah.
So other films on his list.
No.
We're
not there. We're not there yet.
No. For Bong Joon-ho.
Okay.
Just mentioning The Host, Mother, Snowpiercer, and Okja.
Okay.
Which I hated The Host, but just
You hated The Host?
I did too.
hated The Host.
Wait.
Yeah, I didn't
Are we
like
talking
The
about the
Host.
right The
Yes,
Host?
we are talking about the
Yes.
same
Okay,
host.
I'm surprised.
It was okay. It wasn't that great.
I thought it was great.
Nope.
But I did like Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a separate
I'm going to
thing.
pull a
But
mic for
anyways.
my most anticipated. I'm going to say New Mutants. We were supposed to get it this season.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping we get it next season
No, they announced it's going to come out in the spring.
of next year.
Yeah.
Well, damn it. I'm just saying maybe it'll come out sooner because that movie has been shelved. It has been killed. I want to see it.
They still need to do reshoots.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But no, but seriously, Ford versus Ferrari. That's my most anticipated. James Mangold. Logan. You can do no wrong. So
Yeah, looks great.
I'm gonna watch this.
No comment.
Yeah, you can shut up. It's got Matt Damon,
Yeah.
Christian Bale. That's all I need to hear.
Great cast for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a great cast.
and it looks a lot of fun. So yeah, that's my most anticipated for next season.
Awesome.
Honorable mentions. Obviously, I chose not to put this one as my number one because it's an obvious one.
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Is that coming out next season?
Yes. So I can't wait for that one.
I can wait for
real
that one.
low key. That's really my most anticipated, but I just didn't want to put it on there.
Of course.
1917, Terminator: Dark Fate, Harriet. These are all honorable mentions, by the way.
Oh, good grief, man.
Honey Boy,
Oh, yeah, Honey Boy. That's right.
Ford versus Ferrari, Charlie's Angels, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Knives Out. I really want to see that film. Queen and
Are you
Slim.
just reading all of the list for next season?
Basically,
Just
Joker,
you can stop now. It's,
Zombieland 2, Double Tap,
Mike,
Jojo
what-
Rabbit, and The Irishman.
Good.
Those are all honorable mentions of films I really want to see next season.
so you're gonna watch all of them next
I
season.
think
Yeah.
you
Dan-
realize you've set the thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Mike said you're gonna make sure that we
These
watch.
are honorable mentions
Uh-huh.
of movies
Yeah.
I want to see.
Well, that means you're gonna have to see them now.
Yeah.
Mike,
Dan just actually
No.
read off the list for our what we're gonna watch next.
I know he just literally just read what we're gonna watch
week by week.
in reversal order. So the Joker starts first. We'll be back for that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
you're welcome, everyone.
Mike, do you have any honorable mentions? I got none. No, I'm just gonna.
No,
Okay.
I don't. I think Dan's mentioned enough.
Yeah. I know we're going to end pretty soon, but what did you guys feel about summer 2019?
It was good. It had a lot of fun movies.
There was. I don't know if I gave a leftovers at all. Granted that there's some films I didn't watch.
I did give a lot of leftovers.
But I think the lowest rating I went this whole season was Takeout.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I feel like this season was not too bad. It's still not like the best season that we've experienced, but it's not one of the worst. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag for me. It had a lot of bad, like a lot of bad, and a lot of good, and a lot of similar mediocres. But I think it was a better summer than 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of felt like the season kind of like gave you a good mix of like really fun, interesting movies that are thoughtful, like, Midsummer, and then you had the other ones which were awful garbage, like Hell's Kitchen, like
And Godzilla?
and Brightburn and Godzilla and Men in
Godzilla was
Black
fun.
and Men in Black and like in X-Men Dark Phoenix, like all those movies were just really awful, but the good ones like Avengers Endgame were just spectacular.
Agreed.
All right.
On that note, so that'll do it for this season, our Edge of 17 season, basically our 17th season. So we are going to be on hiatus for some time. We're going to be back just in time to review The Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed by Todd Phillips. So stay tuned for that. There will be some maybe some bonus episodes and of interviews that will be coming out, as well as maybe we might do a bonus episode for It Chapter 2.
Yes.
We're in talks about that, but we'll see. So just keep coming back. Follow us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Instagram, Twitter, and also visit our website, moviemenupodcast.com. Or subscribe to us so that way you can get these bonus information and bonus episodes on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there. If not, send us a message and we will get on there.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you so much, Z,
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back again. We're going to take a hiatus. We'll be back for The Joker. Until then, we say goodbye.
A 2, a 3,
See you later.
a 4.